So I am going to make some cookies. And I'm kind of coming up with my own sort of recipe for it because I don't like to use sugar, and I'm really trying to stay away from as many carbs as I possibly can. And so over the last year, I've been following the keto diet or paleo or whatever you want to call it, low carb, macro. And maybe not all the same, but I just knocked something over and I had no idea what it was. Anyway, what I'm doing right now is I bought some Nutsmith tahini, which is sesame, so it's fairly low in carbohydrates. So I know how much we all like, peanut butter cookies. So I thought, well, how about tahini? Because it's from a nut seed, whatever you want. And then I can see how I do with that. This is way too much. I need 1 cup. That's all I need. So I just wanted to stir this up outside of the container so that I could make sure it was evenly stirred, because the oil tends to dripping all over the place too. It's hard to get good help here. Let's see, 1. I think that's 1 right there, isn't it? Let's see. That's 1 cup of tahini. I should have my piggy spatula. I don't know if it's in there or not. No, I think it's in the dishwasher. So otherwise I'd have it out. I don't feel like washing anything right now, and so I replaced. So this is my recipe, okay? I'm messing around with somebody else's recipe, but I'm replacing it with things that I like. Because this recipe asked for natural, unsalted, creamy almond butter. Well, I don't have any almond butter, and I'm not going to go out to the store to get almond butter because of the pandemic. And so I do have tahini, and I thought, well, how long does your tahini sit in the cupboard for? So that's what we're doing. So I replaced the almond butter with tahini. And I'm going to put in 1/4 cup plus 3 tablespoons of my ethanol. It's actually a combination of ethanol and stevia. In here. So it's 1/4 cup. I'm going to wrap my head around it. How many tablespoons in 1/4 cup? 4?
1/4 cup is 2 ounces, which is 4 tablespoons.
4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1/4, and then 3 tablespoons more. 1. Get some of that in my mouth. 2, 3. Okay, so we got that. I'll just put I love these silicone lids I got off of Amazon. So I got rid of all of my plastic, mostly all of my plastic containers. And I just haven't replaced them over the years, and I've been replacing them with silicone stuff that is not only biodegradable, friendly for the earth, but hasn't been proven to cause horrible illnesses. So I'm just going to stir that around. Eric's outside with the little guy. Yeah, I asked him to. You okay?
Is he bundled up?
Oh, he's got his winter coat on. I'm going to put an egg in there.
What else did you get?
Oh, I got a headset for Christopher for his tablet. It's wireless. Well, I'm going to get that replaced too, so it's not a big deal. So instead of putting flaxseed, I'm just reading this now. All I read was one flax egg, and I'm like, what the fuck is a flax egg? Well, I don't know, but then I read in brackets 1 tablespoon of golden ground flaxseed plus 3 tablespoons of water, and you whisk that together and let it set for 15 minutes, and that's a flax egg. So I put a free range happy hen egg in there. We'll see how it works out. Now this also calls for pure vanilla. Well, I know I've got vanilla somewhere. I have no idea where it is. So I'm going to use almond extract instead. That's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to find a half a teaspoon. There we go. I don't have my bifocals. Half a teaspoon of that. I don't want to put too much in because it tastes like... Alright, so I think that's it. Oh, I think I might have messed up. Did I? Using specials. No, I didn't mess up. Sweet. I like this. I think it's going to make like 12 cookies. 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And I happen to have Bob's Red Mill coconut flour. I buy a lot of red mill stuff. That's 2 tablespoons. That 1, 2, and I know we're probably supposed to be putting it into a different container. Next thing, all your dry ingredients together, and then you mix all your wet ingredients together, and then you mix the both of them together gradually. So I kind of skipped a few steps, and I think that's going to be okay. This calls for a 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Well, that's more than 3/4 of a teaspoon, I want you to know. And I think I will be a little bit more precise with this stuff, because otherwise it'll taste like soda. I've already got the oven set for 350. It's good for the sink, actually. You want to unclog your sink, pour hot water into it, and then pour a bunch of baking soda down the drain and let it sit for a couple of minutes and make sure like the inside of the drain is good and coated with it. And then what you do is you pour vinegar on top and let that kind of soak through and do its volcano action in your sink. And then you follow it again by running, I would say, for at least a half an hour of hot water. And that that helps to clear your plugged sinks. Because I don't know about you, but for me, I've got a lot of people that like to just rinse their plates off in the sink thinking that it's a garburator. And it's just not. It's not a garburator. It's a sink. There's supposed to be salt in this too, so I'll put a little bit of salt in it. I think it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I like salt, so that's about a 1/4 teaspoon. And then it calls for to put the chocolate chips. These are Krista, the Evolution of Sweet Chocolatey Chocolate Chips. Stevia sweetened, semi-sweet, sugar-free, GMO-free. And it has 9 carbs per 1 tablespoon. However, it also has 5 grams of fiber, and sugar alcohols is 2 grams, so that's roughly 2 to 4 grams of carbs for a tablespoon. And these are going to make 12 cookies, so a little bit goes a long way. And it calls for half a cup, so that's 1, 2, 3. That's probably enough right there. It's sort of 4 tablespoons. You don't want too many in because they're really good. They're really good chocolate chips, but when they're all together like that, sorry, when they're all together like a lot of them, I find them very sweet tasting. So I figured I'd just cut back a bit on that, on the sugar content. This is my silicone mat. I don't use parchment paper. I use these for cooking, and then I've got separate ones that I use for my crafts. So I'm going to take that. Of course, you all know I wash my hands. I'm just going to wash them one more time. And okay, spoons here. Right there. So yeah, I'm just gonna. It's a nice texture. Really nice texture actually. So I don't think I'm gonna bother with the spoon, because usually I find that a lot of these recipes can be quite moist and a little runny, and you gotta sort of let them sit in the oven and bake a few minutes longer. But you got to be careful, because the sides of them will get nice and brown, and then all of a sudden they're getting burned, but the top of the cookie looks like it's not cooked. Well, what happens is, like when I cook without flour, I find it the cookies set if left at room temperature to cool off for, I'd say like half an hour or more. It really makes a difference. Anyway, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I did show you the products that I'm using. That's the cookie batter right there. And it's like, I'm not kidding, this is a really nice consistency. And I'm just making one recipe size, because I don't know how it's going to turn out. But I tell you, if it turns out, I'll be on to something. I'll have to add some secret stuff. Actually, I've got my own granola bar recipe that I haven't shared with anybody. So I would like to make that a keto bar, and I could do that, but I have to do some research on what I can replace with what. Yeah, because those were, I came up with that recipe years ago, because we always had foster children, and the kids are going to school. Even my own kids are going to school, and you just you can't send friggin' peanut butter along. So, and I get that, because I feel bad for anybody that's allergic to that stuff. But anyway, and I was trying to find something that they really like that had a lot of fiber and protein in it, and I came up with this recipe. So maybe I'll share that with you next. Anyway, there is 12 cookies. 12 chocolatey chippy cookies are now going into the oven for I think it was like 12 minutes they recommended. I don't know. Um, 16 minutes. Timer. I'll put it in for 15, because it just took me that long to see the recommended amount of time. I kind of look at a lot of different recipes, and then if I think, oh geez, that really looks good, but I don't have that, or I can't eat that, what can I replace it with? The internet is a great tool to go on to and figure it out. Anyway, those cookies are now in the oven for 15, 14, 30, and my baby's going to need some feeding now. So have a good day, and I'll do a little short clip when I take the cookies out of the oven, and we'll see how they taste.